Good morning, everyone. And I thought I'd make a short video this morning talking about value-based action as it relates to sobriety. And for people, who enjoy alcohol and there's no issues with it whatsoever, it's not, having giant consequences on your life, then this video is probably not for you. But if you are in that kind of contemplative stage that you're thinking about getting sober, or you're in the initial stages of sobriety, this video is probably for you. I feel as though I can speak about this because I've done my own sobriety work. I've been sober now for 4 years. And, I've done counselling, coaching, etc., and working through my own issues and stuff like this. And it is an ongoing thing. It's not that it's you reach a certain destination or anything like that. But these are just some things that you can think of that might help you on your journey. And I hear a lot of times when people get sober is that they're kind of in this stage of they have to be in an absolute state of readiness to get sober. And I relate back to when I was doing my own coaching, kind of my early years of sobriety. I think it was in my second year. And my coach said to me one time, "You know what, Josh, no one is ever ready to get sober." And it was really kind of quite profound, really, because I never really thought about it like that most people think they have to be in an absolute state of sheer certainty to get sober before they get sober. And it's quite the opposite, really, that most people don't really want to get sober, but it's come to a point in their life where it's causing huge harm, in their relationships, in their finances, their physical health, and they have to make a change. Their back's up against the wall, they have to make a change. Now, what I will say is that a lot of people will also say things like, well, I'm just so arrogant, that's why I don't get sober. I'm just so prideful, that's why I don't get sober. And you'd be quite surprised that when you go to, recovery meetings or coaching, stuff like this, that pridefulness will eventually go. But it's having that willingness to act regardless of how you feel. They call this in dialectical therapy or DBT, they call it opposite action. So the fact that even if you don't feel like doing something, that you act on the value anyway. It's kind of adhering to the principle versus the feeling. So what I mean by this is, for example, if you're really arrogant or really prideful or really stubborn, I don't need to get sober. I don't need to get clean from alcohol, whatever. Try and find a way that you can still act and take action towards your sobriety, even if you don't feel like it. Because a lot of times that kind of pridefulness will slowly diminish when you start hearing other people's stories in like an AA meeting, for example, saying, I really struggle with this as well. I struggle with this. I'm really struggling at the moment. You start to realize that you're not on your own, and you start to realize that the kind of, it's like the saying, the more personal the wound, the more universal the wound. You start to realize that you see reflections of yourself in other people, and that you're not on your own. They're actually issues that you have yourself. And sometimes you can hear other people how they cope with that, how they're managing it, and it will give you kind of some form of reassurance and guidance to try and implement it with your own recovery. And it's like with sobriety, I would say it's more of it's a practiced skill before it's ever kind of a felt experience. You feel really confident about it and certain with it. And there is a kind of awkward stage where it is unbelievably foreign, that you've never done this before. And you have these, you have withdrawal, you have, you're having to now navigate through new friendships. You're having to really, in a sense, reorchestrate your life around trying to get sober. You realize that the drinking itself became, this means of you coping through life, but it also brought certain relationships about because of that, certain experiences, certain financial consequences, and you're having to now rearrange your life around getting sober. And it is very scary at the start, but if you can still act on the value of getting sober versus, well, I'll only do when it feels comfortable to me, when I'm ready, I can guarantee that you'll get sober a lot quicker. So what I would say is, take-home message for this is that don't wait to feel in that state of absolute readiness. Try and see if you can take small actions regardless of how you feel. And what will happen is that initial fear, anxiousness, withdrawal, and uncomfortableness, if you keep taking the actions, eventually that builds the belief like, oh, I am getting sober, I can do this, and it raises that level of self-efficacy, the belief that you can succeed. And eventually you do it over enough weeks, months, and years that you eventually go, hey, I am now a sober person. It builds that confidence and certainty that you can sustain it. So you have to go through the awkwardness. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. Please comment if you've liked it, and you have a nice day. Bye bye.